mean, I keep it pretty simple. Like people are talking about $100 mics and $100 webcams. My first course, I made a pretty ghetto film studio. I think I had one of those tripods in the back behind, so, although it's probably a cheaper version. I put it together for about $100. Yeah, you can get background paper very, very cheap, and put up some Home Depot lights, and if you do it right, it looks pretty good. I filmed with iPhones. Actually, my first course is filmed with 2 iPhones, and people kept telling me how professional it looked. It was pretty sweet. Um, it was hilarious, actually. So it doesn't have to be too complicated. You don't need any special tools, honestly. This last course I put out, again, within the past 10 days. For this one, I'm doing mostly screencasting, and I'm also doing some interviews where I'm just using my MacBook Air webcam for Skype calls, and also recording for in-person interviews. And I have one mic that I actually got for free from a friend. It looks like it probably cost about $10. It actually has quite good audio. So it's really, really, simple. I use actually QuickTime, which comes native on MacBooks, I believe, has a native, screencasting ability that you can just do that. I try not to make it complicated nowadays. But if you want to do something more high end and higher production, again, you can just kind of go by Home Depot and ghetto rig some lights and buy $20 background paper, and it still looks really, really good. So I think maybe what's a better version of this question maybe is how do I set up my workflow to be very efficient, to like quickly make my courses, because it's not really related to the tools I use. One of the things that people have been talking about, which is a really good point, is outlining is very, 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 very helpful. So for me, I guess I start from, I've got the general topic idea, and I want to get people to a certain point to accomplish a certain goal. And then I outline, okay, if I start from scratch myself, if I knew nothing, what are the sequence of steps, the sequence of things that I have to know to get to that end goal, that end result, the end outcome that the person's essentially buying when they buy the product. And then I outline that out very, very clearly. And then if it's gonna be screencasting, I make the slides, and then from there, I agree, having a very clear outline is very, very helpful, because otherwise you will 100% end up rambling. I made that mistake in one of my courses. But yeah, and then just pump it out, and just sit there and make sure your environment's good, so the audio is going to be good. Audio is huge in courses. You can get away with semi-decent video, or even just recording your screen sometimes. But if your audio is bad, that's it's not redeemable, and you can't really fix it very well. So yeah, and then just go from there, pump it out. And for example, I think one of the questions that's on the list is rapid course creation, and I actually made my second course in 48 hours, just as like a test, because my first course took a long time, and I wanted to make my second course as fast as possible. So I made it and launched it and edited it. I edited the videos myself, even though I didn't actually know how to edit videos, and did the whole thing in 48 hours, just like to see if I could and see how it would go. And it actually did really, really well. And given the amount of time I spent on it, the amount it's made is like a ridiculous ROI. So if you set yourself up and do the work before you actually launch into things, and you have a very clear process about how you're going to launch it once it's up. So script out everything and make it very mechanical, like point A, point B, point C, to actually make the content, and then like as soon as it's done, point A, point B, point C to actually launch it. And if everything's very well scripted, you'll do a really good job of doing it in a very reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, so the question was about rapid course creation, right? I think it's something to be very careful about. I think doing an experiment, and as long as you can make sure that your course is high enough quality, creating quick courses is great. And I mean, I've done that. I'm on my 34th course now. I've been on Udemy for just over 2 years. So it's about, it's over a course every month that I've been creating. But I've really slowed down lately, just because I have been putting a lot more time into higher quality courses. So for example, just this past weekend, I was out on a shoot where we were going to locations all around the San Francisco area for a new photography course. We have a studio set up. And so that's my way of taking it to the next level. But yeah, so I would just be careful with it. But I think like if you're like Grant or someone who has experience creating a course or a few courses, You can take the same techniques of creating an outline, recording, publishing, and just sit down and do it in a weekend. And I know Matt has done that a lot, creating a lot of great courses. So just for me, it's always about going back to why are you doing this? And if you're doing rapid course production to just create more content, create more courses to make more money, then the end product's not going to be as great as if your reason is just, I love creating courses and I am having so much fun that I want to create courses as fast as possible. And so what is your end goal? And if it's just to make more money, then creating as many courses as you can. I believe the quality of the course isn't going to be as great.
Good. Thank you. Matt, let's move to you because that's something I know that you've talked with me, trying to get me to create courses rapidly, but go ahead and let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, so, well, thank you, Phil, number one. And also to Phil's point is I like to focus on good quality information first above all. So when you start with that, and then you also have good quality audio. And the thing that saves a lot of time for me is I kind of slack on like the production value. So I don't have like this great production where like an intro, like how like these shows will have like this intro with like music and everything. I don't have that. Most of my courses just either have like one slide on it, and I just kind of narrate it, giving the student good information, and it just saves a lot of time if you really want to create a course rapidly. But what Phil was saying, focus on the high quality information, high quality audio, and then I kind of just let the rest slip away. But that's what I'm talking about, improving your courses, because okay, now I have the feedback on the information. I know a lot more about Udemy and how to create great quality courses. So now I'm going in and improving all the courses and making a great high quality production for the visuals. So I think that that's also what you should add in there. Like I'm sure when Grant created his course in two days, like he's not necessarily done. Like he just has that base. He's probably going to add more lectures. He's probably going to go in later and improve his visual quality, maybe in a year, but he just focuses on, as I do, the information and the audio.
Man, your turn. So go back to your point that I think you had something on, it looked like return on investment that you wanted to.
Yeah, just to piggyback a little bit on Grant's comment, there's a lot of conversation in the studio and where not about money and profits and whatnot. I don't want to work for free. And so, if Grant's going to do something for 48 hours, I want him to get a good ROI on it, because 48 hours is a lot of time. And in 48 hours, what else can I do with that time? Can I give a speech? Can I reach out to somebody who's going to, give me a good opportunity to do something like I did the last 2 days and really impact lives in an in-person way? So there's a lot of conversation in the studio about money and profit. I just think it's a really important thing to step back and say we should all value our time, we should all value our energy, and the ROI means just X number of sales. If you put in 48 hours and pay yourself $5 an hour, well, that's your profit. So I get concerned sometimes with this big conversation about how much money people are making. A big part of the reason why I like to do this is, frankly, it's a different channel for me to share my knowledge. And I'm a fourth generation teacher. I love sharing my knowledge. And I think it's a fun thing to do. It's a rewarding thing to do. I work with a lot of introverts, and one of the things that comes up over and over again when I work with introverts is they have no idea that they can possibly be good at networking. And I explain to them, yes, you can be. You're a good listener. Here's some tips that you can do. Here's breathing techniques. Walk into the room before anybody else is in there, then people go into your space. I learned that from a football player. And so part of it is it's a different way for me to share my knowledge. Obviously, we all need to have an income, but I just think there should be some just kind of perspective on, what all of that's about. So that's my little on the ROI, and just be sure we pay ourselves.